Okay, here's another fantasy series for you. I've got the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers taking on the 1977 Los Angeles Dodgers in a best of seven. Through a roll of the 20 side die, the 1977 Dodgers have the home field advantage, so games one and two will be in Dodger Stadium. And in game number one, we have Mike Caldwell on the mound for the 82 Brewers and Tommy John for the 1977 LA Dodgers. And you're going to see in what was really a terrific pitching performance by both Mike Caldwell and Tommy John. Both pitchers only allow one run through 9 innings. It was the 82 Brewers winning this one by a score of 4-2 as they get a two-run home run by Ben Ogilvy off of reliever Elias Sosa in the top half of the 10th inning, and then they added another run, a Davy Lopes error allowed Jim Gantner to score to make the score 4-1. Raleigh Fingers came into the game, gave up a solo home run to Dusty Baker to lead off the bottom of the 10th inning, but then retired Monday Yeager and pinch hitter Lee Lacy. So the 1982 Brewers take game number one by a score of 4-2. Okay, game number two now. We have Pete Vukovich on the mound for the Brewers and Don Sutton for the LA Dodgers. And we're going to see that the 82 Brewers are able to take game number two and take a 2-0 series lead as they win it by a score of 5-3 in a game where the Dodgers defense let them down a little bit in this game. In the top half of the sixth inning in a 1-1 game, you could see Paul Molitor led that inning off with a single, and then he steals second. And then with two out and Ted Simmons up at bat, you had a two base error committed by center fielder Rick Monday, which allowed Paul Molitor to score to make it 2-1. And then after that, Charlie Moore had a big two RBI double to make the score 4-1. And the 82 Brewers were able to hold on from there. You could see it was another very well pitched game by both starters as Pete Vukovich gets the win. Don Sutton only allowed one earned run in his 7 innings of work, and Raleigh Fingers gets his second save of the series. So through two games, we have the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers up 2 games to none on the 1977 LA Dodgers. Okay, game three in Milwaukee with the 82 Brewers up 2 games to none on the 1977 LA Dodgers. We have Bert Hooton on the mound for LA and Don Sutton for Milwaukee in a game which the 77 Dodgers absolutely have to have. Oh, by the way, and I didn't purposely avoid a Don Sutton versus Don Sutton matchup. Uh, Basically the way I looked at it was Caldwell and Vukovic. Well, certainly Caldwell is the best pitcher on the staff. I think Vukovic and Sutton are pretty much a wash. But I purposely kept Don Sutton back to game three because he has some issues with some ballpark effect home runs on his card, and the ballpark effect home run, according to the Strat-O-Matic book, for Milwaukee 1982 was only a 1-2 on a D20 for both lefty and righty hitters, where in Dodger Stadium 1977 it was a 1-11. So that's why I purposely held Don Sutton back, the Milwaukee Brewers Don Sutton, back to game number three. If the Brewers had gotten home field advantage, then maybe I would have worked it in where Sutton would have done games 2 and 6 in Milwaukee. But the way the home field advantage worked out, just decided to go with Don Sutton in game number three in Milwaukee. So let's take a look at what happens here. And you could see that the Dodgers get a game that they absolutely had to have as they shut the Brewers out by a score of 3-0. Bert Hooton just completely shuts the door on the 82 Brewers as he goes 7 1/3, and Charlie Huff goes 1 2/3 to get the save. So 77 Dodgers get game three, and they now trail the series 2 games to 1. Okay, game four now. We have Tommy John on 3 days rest pitching for the 77 Dodgers, and Moose Haas going game 4 for the Milwaukee Brewers. So let's take a look at what happens in game number 4. Brewers enter the game up 2-1. And you could see for the second straight game, the LA Dodgers were able to shut out the Milwaukee Brewers. This one by a score of 6-0. Dodger bats really finally woke up in this game. Big day by Dusty Baker. He goes 3 for 5 with a home run and 2 ribbies. Tommy John, excellent pitching performance as he goes 8 scoreless, only allowing 5 hits. So the LA Dodgers win games 3 and 4 in Milwaukee, and the series is now tied 2 games apiece. Okay, in game number 5, we have Don Sutton pitching on 3 days rest for the 77 Dodgers, and Milwaukee's game 1 starter, Mike Caldwell, on the mound for this pivotal game 5 series tied 2 games apiece. And you're going to see for the third straight game, the 1982 Brewers get shut out at home as they lose this one by a score of 4-0. The Milwaukee Bats are just in the middle of doing absolutely nothing right now, not really even getting any real rallies going. You can see on the Dodger side, Dusty Baker hit another home run. This one a 2-runner in the top half of the fourth inning to make the score 2-0, and the Dodgers were then able to scratch across a couple of runs, one in the fifth and one in the seventh inning. So the 1977 LA Dodgers go back to Los Angeles with a 3-2 series lead over the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers. Okay, game number 6 with the LA Dodgers up 3-2. We got Pete Vukovich pitching on full rest for the Brewers and Bert Hooton for the 77 Dodgers on 3 days rest. And very big sequence early on in this game with the 77 Dodgers already up 1-0 in the bottom half of the first inning. Steve Garvey had a single into center field, and Gorman Thomas was able to throw Reggie Smith out, trying to score at home. So the Brewers were able to hold the Dodgers to just 1 run in that bottom half of the first inning. And you're going to see that the Milwaukee Bats finally woke up as they finally got a run across in the top half of the third inning with a Robin Yount RBI single. And then the Bats really went crazy from there as they're able to win the game by a score of 6-1. You had Cecil Cooper go 2 for 3 with a home run and 2 ribbies in the game. Charlie Moore added a 2-run home run as well. So the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers are able to force a game number 7 as they win game number 6 by a score of 6-1. All right, game number 7 now. We have Tommy John pitching on 3 days rest for the second time in this series for the 77 Dodgers, and Don Sutton on the mound for the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers. So let's see what happens in game number 7 here. And you're going to see the 1982 Brewers were able to take it by a score of 8-3. They were able to get 2 runs on the board in the top half of the first inning. Cecil Cooper hit another home run to make it 2-0. Dodgers came back with a solo home run by Reggie Smith in the bottom half of the first inning, and that's one of those ballpark effect home runs that I spoke on earlier on Don Sutton's card. So the Dodgers were able to get on the board there. The Brewers were able to break the game open in the top half of the fifth inning, however. You had a home run by Paul Molitor with 1 out. And then after that, the Brewers were able to really open it up on Tommy John. There really wasn't much to do in this inning. Even going up to this Ben Ogilvy home run, which made the score 7-1, which was a 3-run home run. That was a ballpark effect home run on Ben Ogilvy's card. So a lot of this damage was not done off of Tommy John's card. But it was just an inning where the Brewers just opened it up, and like they're very capable of doing. So they're able to take a 7-1 lead. They add another run in the top half of the sixth inning with a Cecil Cooper RBI single to make it 8-1. Dodgers were able to make it kind of interesting, I guess. They get a 2-run home run by Garvey in the bottom of the sixth. And then they were able to get 2 guys on in the bottom half of the ninth inning against Raleigh Fingers. But you could see Don Sutton was absolutely terrific for the 1982 Brewers, as he only allows 3 runs in 7 2/3 innings of work. Tommy John, after pitching 2 excellent games in games 1 and 4 of the series, he gets the loss as he allows 7 runs in 5 innings. So there you have it. The 1982 Milwaukee Brewers defeat the 1977 LA Dodgers 4 games to 3 in a series which was really one of the strangest series that I ever remember playing. I don't ever remember having this happen before in a 7 game series I played in Strat-O-Matic where all the road teams won. That's number one. You could see by the runs scored in the series, uh, the runs scored pretty much even out, but a lot of the games were really not in doubt in the eighth and ninth innings of a lot of these games. I take you back to the Dodgers winning Game 4, 6-0. Then they won Game 5, 4-0, and the Brewers were able to win Games 6 and 7 fairly easily by scores of 6-1 and 8-3. Really, what keyed Milwaukee's offense those last 2 games. I'm going to show you the numbers for Paul Molitor, Robin Yount, and Cecil Cooper. These guys were absolutely terrific the last 3 games for Milwaukee. And I guess I kind of had a feeling the longer the series went, eventually these guys would wake up and get going because their cards are just too good to get shut down the way that they did in Milwaukee those 3 straight games, which also was very strange. 3 straight shutouts from Dodgers pitching. I mean, John, Hooten, and Sutton all have good cards, but they're not that good. But sometimes that happens in Stratomatic. Weird things are going to happen. But with all that said, I do feel like the better team won this series. I would definitely say the Milwaukee Brewers on the surface are the better team. I realized that I hadn't played one of these fantasy series with the 82 Brewers, and I was trying to come up with an opponent for them to play. And I was looking for a National League team from that era that lost a World Series. And one of the teams that I really hadn't played with before were the 1977 LA Dodgers. And with this being one of the first times where I ever really went through the 1977 Dodgers closely, I was just not impressed with their lineup at all. These cards are not that great, and I'm not crazy about Bill Russell hitting second every day in the lineup either. Also, I think the offense is too right-handed, too many right-handed bats in the lineup. I would like it better if there was maybe one more lefty bat to complement Reggie Smith, who's a switch hitter, and Rick Monday. Also, another thing which really kind of bit the 77 Dodgers in the butt a little bit in this series was it's actually shocking to me how bad their bench was. I was really struggling to find pinch hitters, and in fact, the games in Milwaukee, I had a hard time settling on who a designated hitter would be. I decided to go with Lee Lacy, but I'm not that crazy about his card either. So, anyway, those are my results on this fantasy series. The 1982 Milwaukee Brewers defeat the 1977 LA Dodgers in 7 games. I thank you all for watching. It is greatly appreciated, and I'll talk to you all down the road.